Sometimes it's hard to give God praise for all the things He has done, because our sinful nature makes us feel ashamed. But He loves it when we honestly say, I'm wretched undone. So this word is to encourage you today. He's extending grace to you, no matter who you are or what you've done. Grace to you, no one's disqualified from His love. Grace to you.
It's interesting to me that God, through the various biblical writers, chose light as the manifestation of His presence and person in the intervention into human affairs. In the text that we have heard on today, the light was the thing that was anticipated to and manifested in Jesus Christ. It was the light. His light was like no other light that the world had ever seen or ever experienced. Let's examine for just the next 4 or 5 minutes what this great light does in the lives of those who are standing in expectation. Part of the text that we read this morning, or that we heard this morning from John's Gospel, chapter 1, verse number 5 says, "And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it." The first thing you need to know is that light dispels darkness. There are areas whereby the enemy has had our eyes shaded and has literally kept us in the dark. Oh, come on, tell the truth. You know of a truth that the old cliche and the old saying is absolutely true and applicable to our spiritual lives. When someone is in the dark on a matter, they are unaware, they are uninformed, they are misinformed. They don't have the necessary information to change their circumstances. And the truth be told, the enemy of our souls has kept us uninformed and misinformed in order to keep us in the darkness. But when Jesus manifests, visits, or appears, He comes in light. And light always dispels the darkness. So what can I anticipate in 2009, Bishop? You can anticipate coming out of darkness. You can anticipate that some stuff that was unclear is getting ready to clear up for you. Second thing, light brings order to chaos. Genesis chapter number 1, verse 2. "And the earth was void and without form, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, let there be," come on y'all, light. The earth, the text says, in the Elohistic creational experience was devoid and without form, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. It was a chaotic place. And in order to dispel the chaos, God turned on the light. Y'all, come on now. Y'all haven't always lived as opulently as you live now. And some of us know what it's like to come down early in the morning, maybe even be awakened in the middle of the night, and need a drink of water and go down to the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning in the cover of darkness and flip on the light, and uninvited guests that had been languishing unaware begin. Y'all don't like that kind of talk because y'all try to act like you've always lived in the suburbs. Some of y'all know what it's like to flip on the lights and see where chaos was prevailing. And here's the thing, in the dark, you didn't even know it was there. How much of our lives is cloaked in darkness and it is chaotic simply because we don't know these elements of chaos even exist until He shows up and turns on The light. Can I say to you today, what can I expect in 2009, Bishop? You can expect that chaos, some areas of your life that have been completely chaotic, out of order, things that have been upside down, things that have been topsy-turvy, things that have not been able to come together, and you have been losing your mind and racking your brain trying to put things together in your life and wondering why your life is so chaotic, why this job never aligns, why my salary never gets to where my bills are, why my relationships never seem. Let me say something to you today. When the light comes into your life, he brings order to chaos. And I'm prophesying to somebody today that the light is coming for you in 2009. Not only does light dispel darkness, and not only does light bring order to chaos, but the third thing is light brings understanding. Everybody say understanding. Psalm 119, verse number 130 says it like this. It says, the entrance of your words give light. It gives understanding to the simple. I deal with stuff better when I understand why I'm going through it. Now, it's one thing for me to go through, but if I can go through with some, doesn't it make you feel better about going through it? Doesn't it make you a little more determined to make it through it because you understand why you're having to deal with it and you understand the parameters and the boundaries of its scope of authority on your life? When you have understanding, you deal with things a little bit better. It's when you and I are kept devoid of understanding, that's when the enemy has a field day in our lives. When you get sick and you don't really understand why you're having to go through what you're having to go through. When you lose a loved one and you don't understand why, Lord, you took my loved one from me. They were too young to die. We needed him in our family structure, or things going on in your life. But when God brings the light, he brings understanding. Can I submit to you today that sometimes understanding doesn't come by explanation? Some of us have confused understanding with explanation. See, God seldom explains himself, though he does give an understanding. Because the truth of the matter is the scripture tells us that the peace of God will come to your life and it will surpass all, and you will feel good about a thing and not even know why. I wish I had a witness in the room today that knows that even when you don't have an explanation, you can have understanding. And when the light comes, he brings understanding. Here's the last thing, and I'm going to let you go. The text gives us some real insight here that 1 John begins to dialogue about in 1 John chapter number 1, verses 5 through 10. He says, they are of the world. Therefore, they speak as of the world, and the world hears them. We are of God. He who knows God hears us. He who is not of God does not hear us. By this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Beloved, let us love one another, for everyone that loves is born of God and knows God. He that loves not does not know God, for God is love.